Our topic today is History of Cell and Cell Theory. Our learning objectives are: Definition of cell. Number 2 is the history of cell. Schwann and Schleiden theory of the cell. And lastly, we would look at the modern cell theory. Let us start by defining what the cell is. Cell is defined as the basic, smallest, or the structural unit of life. So what it means is that all living things, plants and animals, are made up of cell. As long as it's a living thing, it has a cell. Let us now discuss about the history of the cell and scientists that developed the cell theory. Some of the scientists that contributed to the history of cell are:
Number 1. Robert Hooke. 2. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. 3. Theodor Schwann. 4. Matthias Schleiden. 5. Rudolf von Virchow. Robert Hooke.
The cell was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He examined very thin slices of cork and saw a multitude of tiny pores that he remarked looked like the wall compartments a monk would live in. Because of this association, Hooke called them cells, the name they still bear. However, Hooke didn't know the real structure of a cell or the functions. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek was the first to see and describe Bacteria 1674, yeast plants, the teeming life in a drop of water, and the circulation of blood corpuscles and capillaries. During a long life, he used his lenses to make pioneer studies on an extraordinary variety of things, both living and non-living, and reported his findings.
Please click the subscribe button to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support is greatly appreciated.
Theodor Schwann. Matthias Schleiden found that all plants are composed of cells and communicated the finding to Schwann, who had found similar structures in the cells. Other researchers confirmed the similarity, as explained in his book, where he concluded, all living things are composed of cells and cell products. This became the cell theory. Matthias Schleiden. Matthias Schleiden stated that the different parts of the plant organism are composed of cells. Thus, Schleiden and Schwann became the first to formulate what was then an informal belief as a principle of biology equal in importance to the atomic theory of chemistry. He also recognized the importance of the cell nucleus and sensed its connection with cell division. Rudolf von Virchow. Rudolf Virchow suggested that all cells come from pre-existing cells. His aphorismonus cellula e cellula, meaning every cell from a pre-existing cell, became the foundations of division, even if the process was not fully understood then. He also stated that not all plants are made up of cells, which eventually lead to the creation of the cell theory. Formulation of the cell theory. In 1838, Theodor Schwann and Matthias Schleiden were enjoying after-dinner coffee and talking about their studies on cells. It has been suggested that when Schwann heard Schleiden describe plant cells with nuclei, he was struck by the similarity of these plant cells to cells he had observed in animal tissues. Schleiden and Schwann set the foundation of classical cell theory but had only proposed 2 of its 3 tenets. When Rudolf Virchow came along, he proposed the third and final tenet of classic cell theory. The cell theory, or cell doctrine, states that all organisms are composed of similar units of organization, called cells. The concept was formally articulated in 1839 by Schleiden and Schwann and has remained as the foundation of modern biology. Scientists, biologists, researchers, and scholars, though still using the fundamental tenets of cell theory, conclude the following on the modern interpretation of cell theory. The modern cell theory are as follows. 1. All living things are made up of cell. 2. The cell is the structural and functional unit of all living things. 3. All cells come from pre-existing cells by division.